Glam. Hey guys, we have a video for you. This is a cool toned, spooky babe, witch and warlock vibe look. We are living our best gray moments, but we're kind of playing with a little bit of like warm tones and cool tones to create this amazing Halloween look. I really like the way it turned out. It's super glam, but it's great for Halloween, great for fall, or you know what, if you just love cool tones, I got you. So please stick around, like, subscribe, comment, tell your mother, tell your father, whoever, and let's get into this makeup look. Naked face time. I'm already done my brows. ABH Ebony Brow Pomade with a little bit of G2B Spiking Gel. I did my eye primer. I used Soft Ochre by MAC with a little translucent powder. And I did my skin prep, which is the Paula's Choice Omega Complex Serum with chia and flaxseed, and the Jordan Samuel Hydrate the Mist. Amazing. Really nice light prep for the skin for an oily gal like me. Oh, and I used Weleda Skin Food. You can see it. Under my eyes. It's like an eye cream. With the same fluffy brush that I used for the translucent powder, I'm just going to tap into this shade from ColourPop, this kind of like gray shade, and that's going to kind of be our transition. I'm going to actually mix it with some of MAC Omega, this guy right here. So I'm just mixing the two of those to build the color because we're going to go gray and smoky today. Gonna really bring out my fall vibes. My spooky, scary vibes. That's what you want to call it. So, you guys, what has been up? What is everyone doing? Has life just been like so great? No, I know. COVID has really just killed the buzz at the party, you guys. You know, I consider myself to be really fortunate because I didn't have any hiccups with unemployment. My company paid me for like a whole month when I was on furlough before they were like, okay, you guys have to get unemployment now. I got plenty of unemployment. I was really able to save and put away money. And you know, I feel like COVID affected me mentally more than I realized, if that makes sense. Like, did anyone feel that way? Like, I kind of was like, I may have been slightly depressed during COVID and not even like really realized it. Like, there was just days where you woke up at 2 p.m. and laid around and then had dinner and then stayed up all night doing what? Like listening to music and watching YouTube videos or hanging out at a friend's house, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It was just, it's such a weird thing. And now that I'm back at work, everything's still weird. COVID didn't go away. Everything's still kind of weird. And now that, at least in Florida, now that everything's like, hey, just open whenever, we don't care, masks off, COVID, don't remember her. Don't remember that happening. It's weird because now you're kind of like, well, do I wear a mask? Don't I wear a mask? Some businesses require you to wear a mask still. It's still kind of weird, like, remembering that that's, like, something we have to do. You know, like, I saw a meme and it was like, pre-COVID, keys, wallet, phone, purse, got it. Now it's like keys, wallet, phone, purse, sanitizer, mask, contacts, glasses, like all this stuff you have to remember now. And it's that way at work. Like at work, I already had to like remember my name tag and my ID and, you know, have the right clothes on and the water bottle and the this and the that. Now I have to have like that plus my rain poncho, plus my shield, plus my mask, plus my hat. Well, like it's so like just a lot to remember. And so I know that it's been really rough, and I'm sorry if any of you out there have had it even worse than I have, because, you know, I consider myself really lucky to have a full-time job and not have been laid off by my company. But there's a lot of people who are like, well, both me and my husband are laid off, so, yeah, you know, and it's just like, God, it's so like heartbreaking, and just everything is feeling the effects of it. There's not one person out there who has not felt the effects of this. I mean, maybe like a baby, like a newborn baby, but you know what I mean? Like every like adult and even kids like feel the effects of this, you know, and it's just hard, and everyone's dealing with it in their own way. And, you know, I'm just so blessed because I think about what, you know, work kind of did to my mental health as well. And so to have a break from that was nice for me. And I got to be around family and friends that I don't always get to see because our schedules are opposite. Like even my boyfriend, he works like Monday through Friday, you know, like night shift. I work on the weekends and I have like day shift. And so it's really hard for us to make time to like hang out more than just like at night for like 2 hours, you know? So that part was great. And I got to spend a lot of time with my mom, because even though me and my mom live together, we don't ever like see each other that often, because again, kind of more opposite schedules, kind of like I go out after work and so she goes to bed and doesn't see me, and then in the morning she's gone before me, so you get it. But yeah, so I just try to look at the positive, and you know, as crazy as it is, I feel like sometimes you have to just count your blessings, look at the positives, because like you'll cry. You'll just cry if you think about the bad stuff. So yes, that's that. In other news, something that I realized, which I know sounds really stupid because you're gonna be like, yeah, duh. But I used to be one of those people who, like, anytime someone was like, oh, do you want to join our rewards program? I'd be like, nah, like, I don't feel like dealing with it. You know, I don't want to sign up or give my email or blah, blah. Or, you know, I don't know why I didn't do it. I was just a crazy person who didn't have bills and limited income and stuff like that. You know what I mean? All right, so I kind of like where that base shadow's at. If you see me looking down, I'm looking into a mirror and just kind of blending. There's nothing on this brush. I'm just sort of blending and tweaking and like kind of getting things to where I want them, you know, because in like when I'm looking into my camera, I'm like, oh, it looks good. But then when I look down, I'm like, oh, wow, there's a lot of things that need a little fixing. So I'm just doing that right now. But you guys, I sign up for everything that I can possibly sign up for that I know that I eat at like a lot. And I realize now like how freaking smart that was, because I don't use my rewards. Like if I have the extra money to get food, I just keep building and building and building my rewards. Like, yeah, today's payday, but like I'm already like pretty much broke, you know, and I have to like put away money because I have bills due and stuff like that. So I'm like, dang, I really don't want to make anything at home. And I'm like, I have like enough for 2 subs at Jersey Mike, so I can either get like 1 super sub or 2 like regular subs. So I went and had myself a completely 100% free sub. Amazing. Like I have a bunch of rewards from Chick-fil-A. I could eat up a storm at Chick-fil-A. Fuzzies, the Mexican restaurant, love Fuzzies. Oh my god, if you go there, their tacos, their queso, their bowls, their oh my god, their fajita quesadilla. Get their fajita quesadilla. I promise you, you will be like, Marge, thank you. You're invited to our first son's birthday party. Because it's so good. But I have like tons of points there. Like I have all the rewards points, like all of them. Like I could get the most mega expensive, like party sized tray of guac that they have. It's amazing. I think that's good. This one's a little darker than this one, but I'll just quickly blend that one out a little more. Try to even them up. You guys can't really tell, can you? Okay, maybe you can a little bit. I lied. I'll have just a touch more of that to this side. So yeah, I am like, why didn't I do this sooner? Like, what? Because I always, like, my friend, she has like a whole tab on her phone that's like just all the places that she eats at, and I'm just like, to me, I'm like, that's just, I don't know why. And it's like free stuff, and I already eat there, so like I don't know why I was being so like weird about stuff like that. But now I am all about it, because geez, when you don't feel like getting something and you know you're just tired and you want fast food, or you know something that you don't have to make and clean up, that is such a nice way, you guys. I'm not kidding. And then I also have a free Dunkin' reward. But I'm gonna save my Dunkin' one for like Monday, you know, when I've worked like this whole week and then I'm like tired and I'm like, this is the last day before my day off. I'm gonna treat myself on Monday, so that's what I'm gonna do. But yeah, I don't know why. Oh, and I also have a bunch of these Wendy's little coupons. So like it's $1 and it goes to charity or whatever, and then you get a bunch of like free junior Frosties, and they're only like this big, but to me that's like the perfect amount to like get that little hit of like, I mean, I'm not a biggest fan of chocolate either, but I feel like weird not getting the chocolate Frosty because that's like the original and it's the best. And it's just the perfect little hit of chocolate ice cream. Like I got some for my friend the other day and she was like, oh my God, like this is so good. I haven't had a Frosty in forever. And I was like, I know, it just hits the spot. And so I used one and paid for the other two because I got one for her fiance as well. And the girl was like, oh, I went ahead and added on 2 extra booklets for you. Is that okay? And I was like, oh yeah, that's fine. She's like, that way you can use like more than one the next time you come. And I was like, well, I have a whole book. It just said that you were only allowed to use 1 per visit. And she was like, girl, you can use more than that. And I was like, okay, you said it. I'll be back next week for my 500 Frosties. But yeah, that's another good one because sometimes like you just want something sweet, really quick after work, but you don't want a whole meal because you know you're about to go home and eat. Wendy's Frosty, baby. Nice and refreshing. All right. So I'm going to go into the BPerfect Cosmetics Makeup Ja palette. I'm going to take this gray. The other gray that I used was from ColourPop, and I was swatching it. It's a little bit powdery. I don't know if it's old or what. I mean, we'll see. You know, when my eye turns green and falls out, then we'll know. But I just want something with a little bit more pigment that I know that it's going to be a little bit deeper just to build up that color. This is the shade Shady. I'm going in with my same brush, but I just picked up a very small amount, and I'm just going to place it right here in the crease because now that I'm looking at the eyeshadow that I first put down, it is starting to look a little bit blue. And while I love a really like blue toned gray, like cloudy is a really pretty kind of blue toned gray, I think I just want something a little more neutral, if that makes sense. So I'm looking into a mirror. If you guys are like, what are you doing? One day I'll be rich and famous and afford like a really nice viewfinder, and then I won't have to look into the mirrors like peasants. So what are you guys excited about for fall? I don't really have any plans except for me and my friends are gonna go to like this like drive-through haunt thing. I'm really excited because I haven't got to do anything spooky, and with all the COVID stuff, all of the normal spooky things like Halloween Horror Nights and Hallow Scream are either like non-existent or modified. And it's just, you know what I mean? It's just not the same. It's not the same. I know the actors are bringing the same energy and the same mentality, but it's just, I don't know. It just feels weird. But me and my friends are going to a haunt. I can't remember the name of it. It's not Scream and Steam. It's something else. But anyway, we're going to go do a drive-through haunt, and I'm scared because I don't want to run over someone. I don't want to be like, ah, you know, and then just like, oh, all right, I ran over someone's foot. You know what I mean? So I'm really excited to see how they do it, but also scared. And also scared because I'm just scared to get scared. But I'm excited. I like getting scared, but I'm still scared. If that makes... Oh God, I need a drink. So yeah, I'm just kind of tapping that product on. I feel like black is such like a harsh transition to go from, but I might, I don't know. We're gonna, I think I'm gonna try my Pretty Cool palette, see if there's something in there that I can use. Well, they have this really dark gray. This is a lot darker, so let's see if that works. I'm gonna get a smaller brush. So I'm just picking up a little bit of this. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't have a lot of spooky stuff, but I did get some Bath and Body Works candles. You guys watch my IG stories, you might have seen it on there. 'Tis the season. Pecan pumpkin waffles. My favorite. I got so many good scents too, and oh, you guys, the Bath and Body Works quality is like the freaking best. They're the best candles ever. They really truly are. They're so big, they last so long, and they smell so intense. Like, I live in a 2-story home, and I remember my parents being like, I can smell like whatever candle you have upstairs in your bedroom, I can smell it down here, like so vividly. Like, it's crazy how good they are. And I really like that they do have like ultra sweet scents, you know, like those just classic quintessential fall Christmas scents, like cinnamon apples, cinnamon pumpkin, all the cinnamon and spices and pumpkin and apples and all of that. But they have scents that are like fall-ish, Christmas-ish, that I feel like you could burn all year long. Like, they're not so Christmassy, you know what I mean? Like, in my stories, I got one of the candles called White Balsam and Vanilla, and it smelled like fresh balsam, which to me is like very Christmassy. That's like the scent, like the Christmas tree scent. And what I liked about it was that it was kind of like soft and a little creamy, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like crazy intense, and I was like, I could see myself burning this all year, like not just for the holidays. And I really like that about them. Like, sweater weather, that's another one, like super unique, interesting kind of scent that's obviously like sweater weather, kind of fall, but not fall at the same time. Like, it's just really, really good stuff. I'm hoping they have another sale because I may or may not get some more. So yeah, I've loved my purchases. I've been really getting into fall. I'm just so jealous. I really just wish that we lived in a place where we got fall. Like, I don't need snow. I don't need frosty to come. You know, I don't need all that. I just need like a little bit of cool weather. I need like upper 50s. Okay, that's like perfect to me. Like, you know, it's like, it's so hard to get into the fall spirit when it essentially feels like it's July 5th. You know what I mean? Like, no change whatsoever. I'm going back to the BPerfect palette. I'm just picking up a small amount of the black now and putting it like way low in the crease. And I'm using that same brush that I used for like that darker gray shade. And I'm telling you guys, like, you can use a dark gray, you can use a dark brown. Nothing gives you that super smoky effect like a black eyeshadow. Nothing does. I feel like this base is so light, but I feel like it's just because of the light. I feel like it's because my light is making it look more light, because every time I look at myself, I'm like, good God, that's so dark. But when I look into the camera, it's so light. So I'm like, everyone probably thinks I'm like a little wimp who doesn't like to use a lot of pigment. But I'm not, I swear to God. So the other day, tell me if I was in the right or I was in the wrong. So the other day, I went to Walmart. I needed coolant for my car. So I come outside. I was like, you know what? I'm going to put the coolant in here because she's probably bone dry. She's probably like really mad at me, really thirsty. So as I'm like standing there pouring the coolant into my tank, I hear two guys start to shout. And I'm like, oh God, someone's fighting. Like, what's going on? Oh God, you know. So I look back and they're like, I'm like way off to the side. Like, I'm like over in like the garden section, like all the way back. And they're like across from me, but like a couple like lanes, aisles, whatever you want to say, down. And the guy, it's like an old guy and a young guy. So the young guy's like coming, like he's like going into the store, and the old guy's leaving because he had a bag in his hand. And like the young guy goes, yeah, whenever people park like shit, I like to write them a little note and say that I put my nutsack on their door handle. And the old guy was like, yeah, get him, blah, blah. And he like thrust his fists in the air. And I was like, now let me tell you, okay? Listen, I'm not some perfect angel. I get pissed when I see people parked like shit, especially like at work or something where like people want those front spots. Like there's limited parking for like thousands of workers, and you're gonna park like shit even though you could have easily went and fixed your car, and now no one can park in the spot next to you even though it's up close because you're taking up half of it. Like, yeah, that's annoying, okay? But I'm not gonna write like a note to that person and be like, you parked like shit. You know what I mean? I'm just not gonna do that. Like, I'm gonna be like mad and then I'm just gonna get over it in 2 seconds. You know what I mean? Like, it's gonna happen. People do stuff like that all the time. I don't know if he put his nutsack on the door handle or not, if you were wondering that part of the story. I do not know that for a fact. I highly doubt it because that would have been a lot of effort in a public area. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't believe that he did that. But regardless, it's not right. So I just felt weird. I felt like that wasn't nice. And I also want to clarify the biggest thing. This car was like way far away from everybody else. Like, it wasn't like a front row spot. They weren't in a handicap spot with no sticker, like nothing like that. It was strictly like this car was like way far back. There was plenty of space around this car for you to park. There was plenty of close spots for you to find a place. And I was just kind of like, why are you picking on this car that's like way the freak out here? Like, and where's your car? Because there's no other cars around this car. Like, if this was the car, there was like a space next to it, and then there was like a car next to that space, but like it was so far away it didn't matter. Like, I saw closer spots, like I said. And I was just like, so where's your car then? Like, so you had to go out of your way to tell this person that they parked like shit. So I just didn't feel right about it. And, you know, you guys, ever since like COVID and like all the stuff that's going on, the political climate, we're in like one of the biggest civil rights movements of the generation. Like, there's so much bad stuff going on in the world. Like, why, I really try to live my life by the philosophy of like, you don't know the whole story. Like, you don't know the whole story unless you've personally experienced it. Like, you don't know the whole story. Why did that person park like shit? Were they in a rush? Like, did they accidentally oversleep and they had to get something before work and now they're going to be late and it's their only job and it's COVID and their economy's crashing, so they can't afford to get another job? Was it an elderly person who has no one to drive them to the store, and so they park far away because they can't see very well, and they parked kind of crappy because they can't see too well? And you know what I mean? Like, was it a pregnant woman who had to go to the bathroom really bad? Was it someone with a child who the child was vomiting and they needed to hurry up and get in the store? Was it someone who had cancer who was vomiting and needed to get into the store quickly to go to the bathroom? Was it someone who had an upset stomach and they had to quickly rush into the store? Like, you just never know, like, what someone is going through. You don't know if the person that parked like that, like, just got a phone call from the emergency room saying that their loved one was in a car accident and they need to pick something up on the way or something. Like, you just don't know. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I just kind of try to say to myself when I find myself judging or getting annoyed or getting mad is like, we don't know the whole story. Like, let it go. Like, it's not a hill to die on. I felt like he really died on that hill. Like, his tombstone's there, his whole family's mausoleum is there. Like, it was crazy. And I was just kind of like, why? So anyway, I waited till both of them kind of walked away. I finished what I needed to do. And then I just slowly rolled up next to that car and I just pulled the piece of paper off. And then I was kind of feeling bad and I was like, well, should I have left it? Like, is it, should I also like let those people know that they're pieces of shit, And then I talked to my boyfriend and he was like, March. He was like, when people start messing with other people's cars, that's when there's a problem. Like, you did the right thing. So I was like, because I felt like, you know, should I just have left it? Like, you know, I don't know. I just feel like it wasn't nice. I just felt weird about it. And I was kind of mad at him. And I just felt like he was being super obnoxious about it. So that also kind of made me mad. Maybe I'm in the wrong. I don't care. I threw that note away. And that person, hopefully they weren't just an asshole who did a bad part job. All right, so as of right now, I think I'm gonna go with my shimmer. Yeah, I am. I'm doing it. We're doing it. So I kind of want to play with like the mixing of metals, like the different colors. So I'm gonna use the Dose of Colors Block Party shadows. So I'm going to be using this really pretty like slate gray. It's in the shade Reflection. And then I'm going to put a little bit of Heart of Gold on top. It's like this really bronze, excuse me. So I'll say bronze. Bronze. It's a really bronze shade of gold. I was saying bronzy and I don't know what I was saying. Life of YouTube, people. This is real life, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and just use my finger to put this on. But I need to look in a mirror. I'm not that good. Pro tip, whenever I do like shadow where I'm like using my finger, I always try to put the shadow like on the tip of my finger. I don't try to put it on like this part of my finger. I try to put it on like the tip because I feel like the tip is where you get like, you know, you really get in there. So I'm just gonna start by swiping this on, but I'm also like pressing at the same time. Because I also don't want a lot of fallout either, so I don't want to have a lot of cleanup after. Ooh. God, the camera just never does these justice. Make sure you press into the lash, kind of push it up. I was so inspired by that new collection by Scott Barnes. I was just like, I want that collection, but I don't need it because I literally have every color in my collection. And I can recreate that without his collection, even though it looks beautiful. And I don't know, I've been seeing some other people wearing like gray eyeshadows. Like I saw Trisha Paytas wearing a gray eyeshadow, like just a matte, like kind of blue toned gray eyeshadow on the H3 podcast. And I was like, that looks so good. It really does. So now I'm going to take a little bit more and do my other eye. Now I'm going to take a tiny bit of this gold, like a really tiny bit, and just lightly tap that on top. Yeah, doesn't that look so pretty, you guys? And this is such a brassy gold. It kind of has like a greenness to it. Ooh, I'm not even a makeup artist anymore. I am a magician. All right, so now before we do the rest of the eyes, I'm gonna go ahead and do the skin. Let's get the skin popping. So I'm gonna use my Cinema Secrets palette. I'm gonna go in with the second shade and the middle shade. So this one and this one. And I'm gonna use those as like concealer. So I'm putting it on the back of my hand. And I'm going to use it as concealer. Concealer. Just kind of covering up the redness first. These have like an old makeup smell to them. Not old like they're musty old, but old like some perfume from the 80s or something. God, these are so good. Like, just look at this. Look at this skin. I love these palettes so much. So I've been watching this show called Evil on Netflix. And it is so good. I thought it was going to be kind of like cheesy and lame, but it's so good, you guys. It's about a psychologist who like, okay, she's like the protagonist, right? And then she kind of has like her own kind of little backstory, her own kind of little issues, you know. And she teams up with this guy who is studying to become a priest. So obviously, you know, they kind of got that, you know, like, I don't believe, I do believe type of thing, you know, like, because she's a psychologist, right? So they team up and they basically take these cases where the church essentially needs them to figure out, are these people lying and saying that they're demonically possessed and need an exorcism, or is it some psychological thing, or are they lying, or whatever, right? So the priest, he's kind of just like the almost priest. He is kind of like the liaison for the church, the spiritual liaison, and he brings her on to be a psychological liaison. So obviously, like I said, you know, it's that whole like, you know, there's a psychological, you know, there's that whole like, it's a, you know, so it's that whole kind of like, I believe that there's always a psychological reason as to why these people are acting this way, or bleeding from their neck, like the skin of their neck is bleeding, or, you know, just whatever. And his thing is, you know, obviously he believes. Well, he has his own set of issues too. He used to be like a sex addict and a drug addict, but he's really like turned his life around. He's like a really good person, and he gets these visions as well. So that's his other thing, is that he gets visions. And he just doesn't know what to make of them, really. So a priest told him like to just start writing it down. Like every time you have a vision, just like write it down. So that's what he starts to do. And it is such a good show, you guys. There's like a guy who's like, you end up finding out is kind of like the devil essentially, or works for the devil or something. Like, oh, it's so good. And they just, every episode they solve these cases, but obviously there's like those little like subplots, and she kind of develops feelings for him and he kind of develops feelings for her, but like she's also married, but her husband's always gone. Like they used to climb mountains, but then her husband comes back, and I don't know, like he's good, but he's also kind of a dick, you know. He's just like, he's not like the other guy, you know what I mean? Like the other guy is like, you know, just so incredible and kind and intuitive and listens to her and all that kind of stuff, you know what I mean? And then I like got my mom sucked into it. And so now my mom's like, okay, don't watch it until I can watch it again with you. I've been trying really hard to find something that I like on the tubes, you know what I mean? Like, me and Justin started watching Lovecraft Country, which we really liked, but now I feel like I can't watch it until me and Justin watch it together, and then a lot of times we like spend our time watching YouTube. And then part of me is just like being lazy, and I don't want to watch anything that involves me having to like pay attention too much, you know? So I've been watching like, you know, a lot of King of the Hill and, you know, little fluffy kitchen shows and stuff. So, I don't know. That is really harsh. Why is that so harsh? Am I just being crazy? Just kind of skimming that brush that I used for like the concealer and foundation over this. I don't know. I think it looks good. Maybe it's a little harsh, but hey, we're just hanging out and playing around, okay? It's not the end of the world. Just gonna tap, tap, tap in. Now I'm going to use this new Sigma brush that I have. I am obsessed. It is the Contour and Blush, the F53 Air. And I'm going to use my Tower 28 blush in the shade Magic Hour. I really like this blush, you guys. Like, it's so pretty. And it's very pigmented. And I thought because it was going to be so balmy, I was kind of like, don't know if I'm going to like that. Don't know if my oily skin can handle that. But I have literally had no problems with it. If you just set it with like a little powder, oh my gosh, it lasts for hours. Look how pigmented and pretty. Ooh, it's so good. They have two other shades. One is like, I I believe it's like, oh, I can't remember. I think they have like a more like peachy pink one, and then they have like a really intense like fuchsia or like hot like orangey red. And they just look so good. I've been like really impressed. Tower 28 doesn't have like a lot of stuff, but the stuff they do have is really good quality. I didn't get their like setting mist stuff, but I heard that it was really good. And I'm just a really big fan of doing like a more like warm base when I'm doing a cool eye. Well, I really like that look. So yes. And I'll just kind of stamp over that a little just to pick up any excess product. And then I'm gonna look at my eyes. My face is looking good. So now I can set with lay powder. So I'm gonna use my Charlotte Tilbury for my face. I'm gonna use this tiny little powder proof from Hank and Henry. I'm gonna use Y305 from Makeup Forever just because I used a more like pinky based like foundation and concealer, and just set the rest of my face with it. And I'm obviously going to set my bronzer using butter bronzer. Of course, you all know I always use this. I actually used to like hate this bronzer so much. Like I felt it was so yellow in tone, but I think I was just so used to using Hoola, which is more neutral. I'm gonna use Melba, Coppertone, and a little bit of margin over top of this blush. All right, I'm gonna do some Becca Opal. I've been really loving this lately. Then I'm just going to even out the pigment on my lid a little bit by just adding a little bit in the corner on this one. I'm gonna go back into the Clientele palette, use that same brush that I just used, pick up Shady, sorry. So the shade I'm using for lips is Milk and Cookies by L'Oreal. This is such a good shade. I love like a taupey kind of gray. Oh yeah. I love applicators like this for liquid lipsticks. That is good. Let me give you a kiss. Mwah! Oh! Name that vine. So I'm just gonna take this fluffy brush and I'm just gonna kind of like skim it around the edges of the eyeshadow. All right, I'm gonna put lashes on and then I will come back. Okay, I'm back. Warlocks and witches, it is me, your supreme witch. Now I just gave my hair a little zhuzh. I applied Lily Lashes Miami. You guys, I love the way this came out. Oh my gosh. I feel like the mixture of the warm and cool tones just created magic. I feel like because the gold has that amazing kind of yellowish, bronzy, kind of green undertone to it. It just makes it look so beautiful, and I feel like it makes the green really pop, but not in an intense, like, this is a green and purple Halloween look. Like, it's really subtle, it's really sophisticated. I really like the way it looks. I love the lip. I almost thought it was going to be too much going on, but I think because the skin is so warm, you know, with the warm bronzer and the warm blush and the warm highlighter, I feel like it really complements the whole look. I feel like if I went totally cool on my whole face, I just feel like it would have made me look so washed out and ghastly. It would have been an FX tutorial at that point, not a glam tutorial. But I think this looks awesome. So go forth, my magical friends, and create your own magic on your face. I loved chatting with you guys and sitting down and just talking about nothing and everything. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.